All right, we've covered the intrusion detection system and intrusion prevention system. We've covered application platform. We've covered malware prevention. We've covered NSX intelligence. Now it's time for network detection and response. This is a big part of our network security portfolio, our advanced threat prevention portfolio, because in a way it brings together all of these things we just talked about. So NDR, or network detection and response, we shorten it to NDR in a lot of cases, is a really, really neat service that allows us to take all of these inputs, right, from the IDS, from malware, from intelligence, right? All of these different things, take all these different inputs and analyze them together to identify adversarial campaigns and to see things that we might not otherwise notice, right? Because it puts together all of these pieces and says, hey, all of these things might be related, and gives us a way to visualize and therefore start to mitigate threats to our environment, right? So we're going to watch everything, right? That's where we start. And then as we analyze, we can visualize the whole thing. We can show you what's happening. And then we, that's ultimately going to let us, give us the result of faster intrusion prevention, because we can identify more quickly, and fewer false positives because we can see, right? In other words, these are our security eyes that we're looking at. And one of the ways we're doing this architecturally is by breaking up our different processes into different tiers, right? So we've got a sensor tier that's distributed. We've got a management tier that kind of takes all that information and feeds it into an analytics tier that's going to go and build everything out, right? It's going to build all these relationships between everything. And if we apply that model to what's going on with NSX in with my hypervisors, with application platform, with all the tools that I have, we see that really all of my NSX information, all of my NSX data, my edges and my managers and my hypervisors, those are all part of my sensor tier, because we've got sensors distributed everywhere. The management tier is really the cloud connector in application platform, right? Feeding data out to the advanced threat analysis cloud, or the advanced threat analyzer cloud. And that's where our scalable analytics tier lives, right? Because that's where everything's coming together. That's where we're starting to bring all of this information in, and using those cloud resources to look at all of that information. So we've got a whole bunch of stuff going on. Now, remember, this threat analyzer cloud is also the cloud where we do our sandbox and our dynamic file analysis for malware prevention. So what does our architecture look like here? Well, we're going to feed in all kinds of data from around NSX. Depending on what it is, what it is we have enabled. We're going to feed in intrusion detection and intrusion prevention events. We're going to feed in malware events. We're going to feed in suspicious traffic detection from intelligence, right? We're going to feed all this information in through the security analyzer to the NSX Cloud Connector service, which is going to feed all that into the Advanced Threat Analyzer Cloud. The Advanced Threat Analyzer Cloud is then going to, do exactly what its namesake says. It's going to analyze that data. It's going to look at all that data and find relationships that maybe we wouldn't otherwise see, right? And so here, as we move from the architecture diagram to the workflow diagram, this kind of describes what I was just kind of talking about. That we're bringing everything in. The cloud connector is sending it out to the threat analyzer. Threat analyzer is figuring out what's actually going on. Now, how do I get this power? Well, I have to have application platform. I do not need the advanced form factor, but if I don't have the advanced form factor, then I can't deploy intelligence. I'm not going to get the suspicious traffic detection inputs. You make that call, right? I'm not going to make that call. So I need application platform. It has to be at least standard. It might even be advanced. I need an appropriate advanced threat prevention license. So this is a specifically licensed feature. My threat analyzer cloud has to be reachable from application platform, just like we talked about in malware prevention, right? And then I need to turn this on. I'm going to go into NSX Manager, under System, go to NSX Application Platform, where I see my different features. I'm going to have a big tile for NSX Network Detection and Response. So I'll click that tile and say, I want to enable this, and I'll get this workflow wizard. I may be prompted to select a cloud region, right? If I have not already enabled malware detection, then yes, I will be prompted for a cloud region. If I have already deployed malware prevention, so say you enable these things in the order we've gone through them in these videos, my cloud selection is going to be grayed out because I've already selected a cloud to use with application platform and its features. NDR and malware prevention are the two services that require us to choose a cloud right now. I'm going to choose one, and then the other service will not ask. I still want to do my pre-checks. When I run my pre-checks and pass those, we can activate the service. Then we get this UI here where, poof, right? My service is up. My cloud region is specified. We can reach that. It's all good. Now, I can get to the NDR UI from this tile, right, where it says go to NSX Network Detection and Response. I can click that and go to the NDR UI. But that's not often how we're going to get there. Right? We'll talk about that in just a minute. Before we get there, we can see the NDR pods out in application platform if we want to validate that this has indeed launched and is running, right? So we can do our get pods in our NSXi platform. And here we're running egrep, which is an extended grep where we can look for multiple strings. And so we're looking for Cloud Connector or NSX NDR, and we're seeing a bunch of those things here on the screen now. And then we have to start collecting data. We will start collecting data. We'll start seeing what's going on. And we can start identifying adversarial campaigns in NDR for us to visualize. And so we can get there by going to our security overview. And we've got our threat campaigns dashboard, which gives us kind of a quick visual of what's happening. Well, this is not the NDR UI. This is just a dashboard that we're looking at. And if we look, we've got highlighted the go to campaigns link set and highlighted. This is the way we're probably going to get to the NDR UI most of the time. And so that's going to open up the NDR UI where we can then start evaluating our campaigns. We can start looking at our campaign dashboards and see information. Where are we in the threat campaign mapped back to the MITRE attack framework? What stage of the attack are we in? What tools and tactics and techniques are being used? Where are we going? And we can look at a blueprint. We can visualize what's happening, which is really neat. Being able to see, endpoints being engaged in some kind of a malware attack and what malware it might be. Right, so we can kind of visualize that kind of like we're looking at here. I can also look at an event timeline to see when these things have happened. How long has this campaign been going on? Right. Sometimes that's eye-opening, right? It's been going on this long and it's been undetected. Other times, precisely when everything should be happening. You can validate in the UI here. We can also go and look at individual events and kind of pick around and poke around with those and kind of see what we're detecting. And these are going to be the artifacts that we're using to build these campaigns, right? The justification, the evidence we're using to build these campaigns and build this information flow. So NDR is really, really neat, but we really have to see it. There's only so much we can say about network detection and response. So again, we've got another simulation. This should be our last simulation for the class, but another simulation where we're going to step through and walk through and see what NDR can do. All right, go through that, come back. We'll wrap all this stuff up here in just a few minutes. Okay, we've seen network detection and response. We've seen some of the visualizations. We've walked through campaign blueprints, all kinds of cool stuff there. It's great, right? Network detection and response is an amazing, amazing feature for advanced visualization of security incidents in your environment. But that's only one piece of our advanced threat prevention. It may be kind of a capstone or a culmination piece of advanced threat prevention, but it's only one piece of it, right? We also talked about the intrusion detection and prevention system. We talked about application platform that we need to support malware prevention and intelligence, right? And intelligence is going to be a really, really easy thing to sell, I think, to everyone about, to get application platform deployed, because that makes microsegmentation so very easy, right? And that's, let's be honest, microsegmentation is a big challenge. So there's a lot of really, really cool stuff in this advanced threat prevention portfolio that you should probably think about. You should probably check out if you don't already have licenses for it. If you come back, the next series of videos is going to be all about services in NSX, network services and things like that. So I can't wait to see you there.